want to try something a little bit different today because I want to see if these are going to sell. Well, I want to see if they're going to work, and then I want to see if they're going to sell. I want to make some air fresheners that are going to give off a really nice fragrance. I'm going to make them out of Resincrete because I think that is going to be the best thing to make them out of. But I'm definitely not going to put the oils into the Resincrete because that might affect how well it cures. Now, I've got quite a few different molds here that I'm going to try it with while I test them out. This heart mold is a little bit boring on its own. So what I'm going to do is just add a couple of silicone stamps to it here like this of some flowers. And you've seen me do this before many times in other videos. And I just did a video on it actually with the deep cure that worked really well. So make sure your mold is lovely and clean because this is a shallow mold and it's also going to be curing really quick. I don't need to put the tacky on it first, but what I do need to do is ensure that this mold is completely clean so these will stick to it. So I'm going to go over this mold and give it a good clean out first with the baby wipes to ensure there's nothing on there that's dirty in any way, or grease or oil from my fingerprints, and then let that dry and then push them down onto this silicone mold. So this is really easy to mix up. What I'm going to be using is 100 grams of the Resincrete to 30 grams of water, but if you're whatever you're using, you use that ratio. So always 100 of the Resincrete to 30 water. So I'm going to mix up. My first batch is going to be 150 grams. So I'm going to need 45 grams of water for this. Just slightly over, but that'll be absolutely fine. And then I'll give this a mix until this Resincrete is really like a thick milk. And it's beautiful and white. Now you can do it completely white, but I've decided for mine this time, I'm going to add some colours as well to them. Make sure you've got no lumps in it, so push it against the sides. And this cures really quickly. You can get a longer curing one, and I'll link that in the description below, as well as linking this in the description below. So that's about right. It bubbles so easily as well. Now I'm going to be using the Resincrete colours in this, and this is the red. Make sure you give it a really good mix in, unless you want that kind of marble effect like that. Once it's fully cured, it will cure darker than what it appears here. Now my suggestion is when you pour this, you put a board underneath it, and I'll show you why in a second. And then I'm pouring my colours on without filling them completely to the top at this stage. The reason that I've poured them like that is because if you give it a quick shake like this on a board, rather than giving it a squidgy widgy when it's shallow molds like this, then what you'll find is it will release if there's any little trapped bubbles in there. Now I'm going to pour this one also in this colour. I've got loads of these types of molds as well around that I can make these sorts of things with. So if they go well and they really are popular, that is brilliant. And I think I'm also going to do a doggy with it as well. Which doggy should I do? Let's do this one. No, that's Dalmatian. Let's do this one. I don't know what that is, but we'll do that one. And if you overpour, like I have on this one, it doesn't matter because you can clean these up really easily, thank goodness. I'm a terrible overpourer. Does anyone else do that? Let's take some out. I don't know what it is with me and overpouring. I think I'll do another little dog. No, I'll do a bone, because I've got some left over. I'm probably only going to mix up 100 grams next time. I'm going to do that one half and half, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on now and mix up my different colours in exactly the same way. Pour these, let them cure. It shouldn't take more than about 30 minutes to be able to demold them, but I do like to leave them in for about an hour if it's a thin mould, because that way you're going to get a better result. Well, these have all been poured now. I've done one white, which is the poodle, because I want to see how it works using the natural colour. And the rest I've just used the Resincrete colours that come with it. And like I said, you can demold these in 30 minutes, as it says on the Resincrete bag. And with the thicker ones, it would probably be fine. But I find with these thinner ones, they do need that just little bit extra time. So I will give them an hour. And then I'll come back and I'll show you what I'm going to do next to try and get them to smell lovely. Well, these have had their hour now, so they should demold okay. So let's just take them out and have a look. Yes, they are absolutely fine. Oh dear, that one must have got a little bit of the Resincrete underneath it, as well as that one, but we should still be able to get them out. It's the trouble if you don't. I didn't put any in that one, so well, I did, but it floated right up to the top at the very beginning, so it had to come out. So let's just remove those. And there we go. It leaves a beautiful imprint in it. Now, I did this in resin the other day and someone said to me, you're copying someone else's idea. I saw them do this a couple of months ago. I'm certainly not. I did this probably trial or using it with resin about 4 years ago. And if you want to check my video, you can. I never knowingly take someone's idea, and I certainly would never take someone's idea. And if I did use someone else's idea, I would certainly credit them for it. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll finish off taking these ones out, then we can have a look at these, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do to see if they'll absorb all those lovely essential oils. So these have all demolded really well, none of them broke, which is excellent, and these are really quite thin that I made here, but they're not dry yet. If you leave them like this, I would leave them 3 days to dry. If you put them in somewhere really warm, then maybe 1 day, but I like to supercharge my drying. So again, I'm going to put mine in my resin curing machine before I do the next stage. Now, I'm not going to do it for 2 hours, which is what I normally do. I'm only going to do it for an hour before I start to try and embed the actual scent into them. So they're all in there now. Just turn that on. I'll time that for an hour, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how I'm going to try and put the scent into them. Well, I've chosen the essential oils that I'm going to use. I'm going to use sandalwood, sea breeze, and ylang ylang. And these are from the Laguna Moon, and it's a brilliant set. Comes with 16 different fragrances in. I use them a lot for candles and things like that, and they're good value as well. What I'm going to do, put some onto the backs of each one of these and let these soak in to the Resincrete. And because the Resincrete isn't completely dry, then hopefully as it dries out, it'll absorb this smell a lot more. It does seem to be absorbing it quite well. Oh, it smells awesome. And then what I'm going to do is put those into a bag and seal it up as well, so the smell doesn't evaporate off too much. Oh, that does smell lovely. And then I'm going to do the rest in exactly the same way, using sandalwood and the sea breeze, and put them in corresponding bags. And then I'll leave them probably overnight or for about 24 hours before I then take them out. It should have absorbed all that oil and smell by then. Well, these have all been covered like this, and they've all soaked up that essential oil. Look, there's no trace of that on the surface. Oh, and they smell divine. My whole room smells divine. So what I'm going to do is take one of these out of each of these flavours. Well, not flavours, smells. You're not going to eat them, are you? Like that. Keep these wrapped up in the bags so they don't lose their smell. So what I'm going to do is leave these now out somewhere for about 4 weeks, and then come back to them and see if they still smell. I mean, they will have lost quite a bit of smell after 4 weeks, but I want to see if they're going to still smell a little bit. Well, these have now had 4 weeks, or just over 4 weeks, and they still have a lovely smell to them. I mean, it's nowhere near as strong as it was when I first started putting them out, and they did start to dissipate the smell gradually over that 4 weeks, but I'm really impressed with how well they did. We had them in a couple of rooms, and when you walked in the room, you could actually smell it. It was really, really nice. The other thing is, if people have got their own essential oils, they can recharge them up by putting some on the back. So these are a great success, and I'm going to start to sell them. What I've done is I've printed out some labels. So for instance, like this, that I can just stick on here like that. So I would put a sea breeze one in there like this with that label on, and then put a little card in there as well saying, this is not a toy, keep away from children, do not place directly on furniture. And the reason I've said that is because they have got essential oils in, and I would hate for those oils to get onto someone's furniture and damage them, and then just close them up. So they're like that, and then I can sell them. I will seal these for £3.75 each, and that gives me a profit of £3. And I think they're going to sell really, really well because they're a little bit different, and they're easy to make, really quick, and I'm really pleased with them. Hope you like this idea. The Resincrete is ideal for this. I will link everything that I've used today in the description below, so if you want to get hold of it, you can. Boot that like button, hit that subscribe button, make sure to leave me a comment as well, because I love reading your comments. Check out the video that's coming up next. Take care, enjoy your resin, bye.